What's up, PML? Welcome to Madden 25. This is going to be your trade recap show. This is your boy Vegas 22. I brought in Wisco's finest, the big man, Mr. Curtis. Say hello for the fans, Mr. Curtis.
What it do, booze?
All right, there he is, boys. It's not very often you get him live on the mics, but here he is, ready to go. And, as we're getting things started, I want to make sure that we all understand why we're here, right? We're here as a community to come out, have a good time, but most importantly, be able to capture some fucking championships while Seafield isn't allowed in the league because this son of a bitch is, I'm tired of him. I'm tired of him and all the rest of these idiots that keep gobbling up these damn championships. So, super pumped for season one, even with my toilet bowl of a football team. But we are live and hot and ready to go. So, this is your trade recap show. But before we dive into that, coming out of week one, we had some news that hit the news waves, right? The waves out there, and one of those was the fact that we lost some quarterbacks for week two, right? So, or actually, I guess it's going to be week three. Curtis, I think you've been around a little while, man. I don't think you've ever had a suspension. How does it make you feel that week one of a brand new Madden, three freaking players are now suspended week three, including the ever wonderful Mr. Card Guy himself, freaking Eric Strawberry? How does it make you feel, man? Like, what do you think's going on over here?
I mean, I really can't believe it, especially seeing Eric up there, knowing him with how long he's been in this league before, and getting one that close to the week one, and all these other guys I get, but yeah, it just blows my mind right off the rip. Fucking three suspensions in the matter of a week.
Well, not only that, my man, we actually have already one ready to go for week four, as there was somebody in week two that did not qualify. Man, I'm telling you, we're on top of the streams,
Jesus.
we're on top of the stats. We are pumped and ready to go for Madden 25. I'd be foolish not to state something, but we do still have a few openings in our college football 25 dynasty. Splish Splash making you laugh. He actually won season one. Who the hell let him get Georgia? Who knows? But unfortunately, he sealed up season one. We're in recruiting. If you're interested, hit up myself or Duval, the old man CU Freeze, or the goat Mr. Seafield, as he's allowed us to win some Madden championships, but he's probably won't let us win any more college football ones. But let's get into why we're here, right? So I'm gonna flip over really quick to our kind of the big board of trades that we had that came out, and what I'm seeing is we had, I think, a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 30. We had a total of 44 trades. Curtis, we're going to dive in division by division. We're going to talk about a few people, but you know, off the rip, kind of just asking you out loud, was there anything that made you say, "What the hell is going on?" And we can kind of dive into it deeper when we get to the divisions.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here, Curtis. Did you hear me?
Oh. Yeah, you went blank there for a second right at the end, but I didn't catch the full question, but I kind of heard what you said. I guess really the only ones that surprised the hell out of me, but didn't really surprise the hell out of me was obviously the Colts with getting Nick Bosa and that other DN that he got. It didn't surprise me because with how he trades and is always on the move to blow up the Colts and get some really good players out of it. And honestly, that one just surprised me with the Nick Bosa trade. I was honestly surprised the 49ers willing enough to get rid of him for what he gave. And but I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen with that. If it's going to hurt him in the end with contract wise and cap, and if he can pay him, or if he's just going to trade him away.
Yeah, yeah. So we're definitely going to talk about the trade hoe. He's a little bit towards the end of the day. We'll talk a little bit about the NFC West here coming up pretty quick too. But um, but really, I think that's a good takeaway, right? So I think the big statement to me was there were several teams out there that specifically went out and said, "I want edge pressure." Right? I want edge pressure. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few teams that went out and did it. I was a little surprised to see players like Jonathan Allen, Derek Brown get moved. I get why Panthers kind of moved on from Derek Brown because he's tanking. He wants all the heat that he can get for seasons 3, 4, and 5. But um, you know, edge pressure seemed to be the big take that I saw from a lot of players and a lot of owners in the league.
Right.
But diving right in, I wanna talk first and foremost about I want to talk about just that person himself, TRC, the cow as we call him. Last Madden, he made a couple Super Bowls. He took a couple Super Bowl losses. But this time around, he's gone the path of taking the dump that is the Carolina Panthers and looking to completely rebuild it. These are in no particular order on his draft board, but you'll be able to see. The Panthers have come out. They've made, I want to say, 8 trades. One of their first trades they made, they went and got Max Dugan out of TCU, traded away a C5. Unfortunately, I want to say about 5 plays into his into his season, he proceeded to get hurt for a few weeks. He since then has gone out and got Malik Willis. So there's definitely a couple of young guys there that'll be able to play at the quarterback role. But from there, the rest of the moves were very simple. I want to get rid of everyone on my team, and I want to start with Madden generated players or players that are fast. I think I look at the Bucks Panthers trade. That happens to be the one trade that 401k or 4K made. He gave up his C1, his F1. He gave up Devin Colt, 91 speed tight end, as well as Trey Palmer, 94, 95 speed. And in return, got superstar Derek Brown and Bryce Young. That's interdivision, making some things work from there. Also went out. He got a C1. He got an F1 from the Seahawks and the Commanders. Proceeded to then flip one of those and got a future one for the Broncos, which is never a bad idea. Shout out to my boy Vizzy. But unfortunately, he tends to not rise to the occasion in season two. And I think that's a little bit of risk reward. But at the same time, he went out and got Nick Bonito, um, which was a big edge guy that I traded for last year. So, traded away J.C. Horn, traded away Leggett, traded away, hell, he's even now traded away Brooks to Denver on a separate deal. What are your takeaways? Just talking about the Panthers first, because we'll talk a little bit about Splish Splash. Any big takeaways from what TRC is trying to do in Carolina?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, from last year, seeing him do what he did with the Bills, and he kind of did the same thing in a sense, and it kind of worked out for him in the end with having all the generated players and stuff like that. I was just kind of surprised to see him wanting to trade Bryce Young away with being such a young quarterback on a quarterback deal. And usually, I don't know, in my aspect, I feel like you would want to work around that, but him stacking up with all these picks and stuff, I just really hope it works out for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully confident that by season 3, probably the back end of season 2, he gets a couple of devs. They'll be in the running.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
knowing him, he'll have a bunch of stuff devved up and ready to roll.
in the end, all I have to say about TRC's dismantling of the Panthers is just a simple golf clap, right?
Yeah,
Just a little, just a nice job. Break it down, bring in some heat, and kind of work from
yeah,
there. The next real big team to talk about in the NFC South. This is definitely the best the NFC South has been in several Maddens, with the addition of TRC, but is Mr. Splish Splash. He took the Rams last season or last Madden, literally turned that team all around. This time he's starting off with Michael Penix, the lefty, coming out throwing dots. He just won the tournament, the breakout tournament. But you know what? He went out. He traded away his C1, along with Rondell Moore. Witten got himself an Amon Ra St. Brown. Amon Ra, if you guys are familiar with what he did last year with Cooper Cup, just an absolute monster. I think he's going to eat and eat well in Atlanta. Went and got some speed at corner, between Maddox, Rogers, and Castro Fields. I think this was a pretty good room, for Splish here, for Splash, to come out. You want to share anything with Splash? You have any feedback on Splash and kind of what that whole division is going to look like this Madden?
Um, Honestly, I think with Splash being the Falcons and what he did with the Rams last year, and with these little tiny trades that he's done, I honestly could see some of these guys being dubbed up by the end of the season. And it's kind of scary to see what he's going to be like with the rest of the year, with especially with the Panthers kind of taking himself away with all these trades and dismantling his teams. But from what I've seen on some of the occasions of the games, the Bucks had some high scoring games. So I wonder if if any of those guys will give him a run for his money for a season.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then last but not least, we'll talk a little bit about the Bucks here. Like we kind of mentioned the trade already. For 41K or 4K, whatever the hell his name is. I forget.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's got too many letters and numbers. But he went out. He said, "Screw it. I don't care about my future. I don't care about these young guys that I got to dev up. Give me Bryce Young. Give me a superstar DN slash D tackle that I can throw in the middle. He's got a young defense over there. He does got some changes, right? Devin White is gone, but he's still got Cansey. He's still got Vita Vea. Tryon Shanko can definitely turn it up a little bit. Winfield's a monster this year. It's going to be hard to run on that man. Is my initial reaction. Levante David's about
I'd say.
114, but he went out and got his quarterback. He still has Mike Evans, some young talent around it. So we'll see. And then of course good old Kobe, which I'm just surprised he hasn't. Thankfully this year we're rocking crossplay, so he can be on the PS5 while playing his games. But you know we'll see. But Kobe basically did nothing in the off season. Moving right along, we'll talk a little bit about the NFC North. The big hitter here was Sorcery. No surprise, Sorcery year in year out comes in. I look at what he did. I see some things here that make me go, hmm. And then I see some things that I say, you know what, I kind of like that trade, right? Um,
Yeah.
First and foremost, he did the most sorcery thing that he could do, which was he went out and he got Joey Bosa, right? And in the end, he trades away his C1, he trades away an F3. That means nothing to him, as we know. And then turned around, gave up a defensive tackle in the middle that I think was a star dev and a rookie, Ennis Rakestraw. But to go get Joey Bosa, I'm pretty sure Bosa has edge threat. That's an important thing for Mr. Sorcery to pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson. That was the big takeaway there. I will tell you, there's some definite question marks here. I don't necessarily mind the St. Brown trade. I think I spoke good for what that looks like for the Falcons. I think for the Lions play style, that's probably a good play. Getting rid of Almon, bringing in a little bit more speed, stealing a late C1. Went and got Darius Slayton, JMS. The Giants like that deal a lot for two guys that probably weren't going to play. He went and got Jordan Travis, high speed. Uh, but where the questions really come into play are the bottom two trades there, right? So he essentially he traded Jack Campbell, second year, 6'5", 84, 85 speed middle linebacker, superstar rookie cornerback Terrion Arnold, all pro Taylor Decker, Kevin Zeitler on the inside, both 85, 88, ratings for two tackles, right? From the Colts with no
Yeah.
real devs. When you see those trades in Seattle, right, and you say, wait a second, like, how does that make you feel? Like, when you see that? Like, what are you thinking, Wisco?
Honestly, when I saw those come up on Discord, and I saw those getting in there for being accepted and stuff, I just kind of shook my head knowing last year when I was in the same division with him and he went balls to the wall of getting every type of superstar lineman and stuff and going crazy and stuff, and it just honestly it doesn't surprise me seeing those types of trades. I just I don't really have any much else to say towards it. I just don't know what he was thinking of getting rid of Arnold and Campbell, two really good young players, and for offensive linemen that I foresee that you could just trade for. But I guess he must be in a want to win now and have that stacked offensive line to make Gibbs run 2,000 yards or even more, like he was doing with Barkley.
Yeah, I mean that's been his mo, right? Is
You know,
running the ball. I do know that he has spoken very loudly, like, "Hey, I want run blocking, this, that, and the other." Terry and Arnold, I get it, 90 speed or 89 speed, not his cup of tea. I mean, he gave him
yeah.
away with Jack Campbell. I basically have one thing to say. Like, that's it. That's all I got to say about it. Me personally, not my cup of tea, but listen, shout out to my boy Sorcery. You know, the other team really that's going to be made a few moves in the offseason were the Packers, right? So the Packers went out, they traded away their C1, and then brought in Brandon Ayuk and immediately moved him to running back, which I thought was quite interesting, especially seeing as how he's not superstar, can't grab any extra abilities there, but definitely can be a little shifty, and at the same time turn around, mortgage the future again, traded away C2, F1. Went and got Quentin Nelson. A little surprised that the Colts gave away with him so early in the year. Sometimes he typically waits to season 2 or season 3, especially with those abilities. And then lastly, he sent away A.J. Dillon, who he is not a fan of. I think he probably would have just cut him if he didn't get a trade for him. And he sent that to division rival Sorcery. You'll see a couple of big blank spots on the page. That would be Cannoli with the Vikings and Legacy with the Bears. I can honestly tell you, I'm not surprised that the Bears made no trades. Legacy's got his team. I think he's going to do everything in his power to make it work there. And Cannoli, Cannoli's got a sneaky team over there. If he can get to play, if he can get some defensive prowess from some of those guys that are a little bit older, and get some stops up front. I know this that week one he absolutely shut me down in a lot of different ways, and he definitely found some running lanes offensively. So, maybe they're both content with what they're trying to do in the rest of the NFC North. In the NFC West, I think the big movers, the Niners went out and made a couple of trades with the Commanders, but really the biggest thing that I see the Niners doing here, they went for capital and they traded a lot of players. You're in his division. Is there anything that when you look at some of those trades he makes that you want to? I know you kind of mentioned Bosa going to the Colts. What do you think about the haul he got back for Bosa, and even the haul that he got for CMC? Are you there? I think maybe we lost Wisco here for a minute. Maybe he's pooping, or
Are you
oh,
there?
there he goes. You back?
For some reason, it muted me.
Okay, no problem. Well, you're back. So, did you hear my question, or do you need me to repeat?
Yeah, no. Basically, I started to say is that obviously with being in the division with them, honestly, I was happy to see Nick Bosa and CMC go away because I did not want to have to deal with those two. Um, and with him getting all those picks back and stuff, it kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen in the off season with them. is what is he going to really attack in this draft that's coming up at the end of the season. It makes me wonder kind of what he's going to do and how he's going to reshape that team after losing a hell of an end and a hell of a running back. But from my eye, it makes me seem like he was trying to fix with the capital and cap space and everything with that, with CMC and Nick Bosa. Um, but yeah, honestly, it makes me wonder what he's going to do in the offseason with all those picks and next year.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of picks, so based on this, it looks like he has two C1s. He's gone out. He now has four F1s, as well as three FF1s. In that,
Yep.
he picked up Lot 2, which was a first round pick this year. Um, in the real life, in the real life draft. So Percy Butler, I think, is a great play for him as well. 92, 93 speed, somewhere in that range. I think he did a lot of good things, but I think you're probably spot on where his goal was, hey, I'm in cap hell, and I haven't paid my quarterback yet, who's a superstar, who's due in 2 years, right? So he's going to have to
Yep.
pay him. He can't give him a fifth year tag. But, the other thing I'm noticing, Wisco, is I'm sitting here and I'm saying Niners with the Commanders, Niners with the Eagles, Niners with the Giants, right? You know who I don't see trading with the Seattle Seahawks, with Wisco's finest titty man himself, is any of the NFC East. Who'd you piss off, man? Or are you just like, hey, I don't want to deal with those guys? What's going on in Seattle? Talk to me a little bit about your trade recap.
Really, I I think I learned this from Seafield because he always used to tell me all the time when I was in his division. He never trades within the division, and really, I never I just kind of went with that and didn't want to trade with anyone within my division. But I went out and right as I saw when TRC put up JC Horn, I went right into his DM and picked him because I kind of wanted to. I know I have Woolen and Witherspoon, but I ended up moving Witherspoon to free safety. But I kind of wanted to give myself a little more of a, a better corner right off the rip and kind of resurface my whole defense with a couple of these trades that I did, especially with adding JT Woods in the backfield there. He was always I've used him in the past, and he's always a good user out there in the safety, and I just wanted to kind of get speed in my backfield because every year that I've always played anyone else, knowing how the first year draft goes, everyone else goes out and gets 99 speed wide receivers, and I kind of just tried to stay young with a lot of people and pick up a little bit of small capital with my trade with sending Julian Love to Tennessee, kind of get some picks. And since I gave away my first and current third right away off the rip.
Yeah, like, I look at the Seahawks here. First off, I want to make it very clear. I'm picking you in this division every single year, every single season this Madden, right? I don't see I don't see where you don't win the division at any point in time. Seafield has left it wide open for you. We've got Jaw. No offense, Jaw, you're my boy. I love you, Blue. But he's going 1-16, 2-15 at his
Mm-hmm.
best. From there, Spider Venom's a little bit of an unknown. Um, with that, I don't know what I don't know, so I'm going to go with what I do, which is yourself and Tram. Like I said, Tram's going to be in a little bit of rebuild at this point. So what I see you did here was, first off, you went out and got a third cornerback to pair up with your two monsters in Witherspoon as Woolen. You basically flipped two bums, in my opinion, right? In
Yeah.
James and Lornia, as well as Julian Love, and came back with a 93 speed safety and actually upgraded the wide, picked up a C2 in the process. Flipped, another C3, got a big guard who I actually used a lot last Madden. I am a little interested in the Josh Downs move, especially with Lockett And I know he's a little older and he's a little pricey, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe at the end of the year he ends up getting cut, maybe. But DK on the outside. But I really do like your offseason. I think you did a pretty good job. So with that, I give you a nice little golf clap, brother. Right. So, and
Thank
then
you.
out there in Arizona and St. Louis, it's strictly crickets. Right. They're out there just. I don't even know if they're here, man. I think Jaw's back in the country. So, which, speaking of crickets, AFC North, we're not going to spend very much time here. The AFC North, you got the Ravens, got Carter, got his team. I'm not surprised that he's not moving anyone right away. It's going to probably take something impactful for him to move. We got Jake in Cincinnati. I'm a little surprised he hasn't made a move somewhere. Um, we'll see what goes on there. Lynch always overvalues his team. He thinks his team is better than it actually is. Some bitch probably asking for a C1 for fucking Watson, the therapist, if you know what I mean. But then
Yeah.
we got Nas Booster, right? So Nas Booster went out there and said, "Listen, I need to make a little bit of play out here. I've got a young team. He's got a Justin Fields coming in. He's in a very competitive division. This is probably one of the best divisions of the Madden. I think Carter will probably be 1-2 consistently. Lynch will be competing right there with it. Jake, if he doesn't you know unload the game or delete the game, we'll fight
Or
through
go
it.
to Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, go to Dave and Buster's right now. But the Colts went out and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to move Watt. I'm going to move Jalen Warren." He went and got John Taylor. And at the same time, picked up Quiddy Pay, a nice little outside edge guy. He's got Peyton Wilson in the middle, a couple of picks. I think that's probably a pretty good, well-rounded trade. Again, you look at what the Colts are trying to do. They went out and got Nick Bosa. They went out and got T.J. Watt. They got DeForest Buckner in the middle. That's a scary front. With we haven't talked about it, but with the superstar limits now, it's where do you want your superstars? Where do you want your guys with abilities? Do you have X factors or do you have superstars? Do you guys have anybody over 90 plus, right? Where those X factors kick in. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how teams get built. It was a little disappointing to see such little action in this division as there's so much talent. But shout out to my boy Nas Booster. Keep up the grind, brother. Welcome back to the league. And we're not going to spend much time in this division. Um,
Yeah.
you know, Kind of looking ahead at the AFC West. The Chargers definitely made a few plays. Big thing I noticed here is he wanted to get Bosa off his books. We talked about that trade earlier, but he went out. He traded away Slater. He got some picks in that deal. We talked about the Woods trade. Got a free C5. So a lot of small trades here. The big one really being moving Slater, moving Bosa. Slater's due a contract. It makes sense. Um, Picked up a D tackle and McNeil in the middle, another C1. So, you look at that, he now has three C1s, it looks like, for the first draft. Um, can he turn Quentin Johnston into anything? Can Lad McConkey turn into something? We'll see. Um, Vizzy came in with picked up sent away a C2 F2 for John Brooks. We talked about that deal earlier, as well as trading next year's F1 as well as Benito, which I don't think he needed to do. I'm really surprised he did that a little bit. I think he underestimates the value of Benito, also the value of his future picks to get the C1 from the Panthers. You want to share anything here when you look at this board? There's not a lot here, but I don't know if you have anything in particular.
Really, the only one that I can see out of this is with Vizzy, especially with Williams in his backfield and him being a huge Broncos fan. I'm kind of surprised he brought in Jonathan Brooks. I know he's a rookie from Texas and stuff. I was kind of surprised to see him go get a running back when he already had Williams. And like you already said with Nick Benito, I was honestly surprised that he got rid of those guys or got rid of that and like you already said about with just to get a current first and giving away a future first for that. I don't see why he did that, and I think honestly the next one would just be with the Chargers. With him getting rid of Bosa, I mean, that probably opened up a bunch of cap for him, helped him out, and getting two young guys back out of it. And I'm just kind of wondering what those two are going to do with that.
Yeah, like I said, not a listen. He traded away some wealth, if that makes any sense. But he definitely got
Yeah,
some capital back. I mean, he got back a total of four, five, six. He got back 7 picks, traded away one. All in all, so it'll be interesting. Again, Raiders, are you here? Hello, Bueller, Bueller. Right.
did I get muted again?
Strawberry doesn't
Oh,
return DMs. Like I think unless you're popping cards open, or if you're his girlfriend, you're not getting a message back. I was just impressed that my boy Strawberry repping number 14, the goat Eric. Um, you know, uh, I'm just impressed that he was able to get all of his games played and receive his points, even though he got Mahomes suspended for week 3. Not good, Mr. Commissioner. Not good. Got a little bit of spread out here in the AFC East. Patriots definitely moved. The Patriots really stand out to me on this page. First off, they went out and they got the Giants probably overpaid for Joe Milton. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you, as the guy that went out and overpaid for Joe Milton, he was top of my board the second the game came out. Of who I wanted, I was in his ear bright and early. I tried to kind of feed him Slayton a little bit, maybe not having to give up anything more than that. But in the end, I said, screw it. If I can get a rookie quarterback, season one, 97 throw power, 6'5", 246 pounds, with our point system now and what we can do with things, I felt like he'd be a really good build. But he definitely won that trade for a 62 overall quarterback, considering that Dugan went for a C5 and Willis went for a C4. I do feel a little hurt, but I got my guy. Even though he was originally a Wolverine, he's a Vol at his heart, and I've actually picked up Hooker as well, which is exciting. But that's a huge win for Breakneck out there. A little surprised to see him give away Taekwon. I mean, literally give away Taekwon. Big speed, gave him to an impact player in the Colts for a couple of picks that are going to be late. Um, I really like the next two trades that are listed there. We talked about the Slater trade already, but
yeah,
I think the trade where he gave up Bolden, he didn't really need that support in the secondary. Um, he gave up the C2, but he gets back a guaranteed staple left tackle or right tackle because he's comparing with Slater. And then the last one I think was just a cat move. He turned around, he traded away Judon, who's going to have to be paid. He still has edge threat, so he still has some capability there for a couple of picks, but I just think he just wanted him off the books. I really like what the Patriots did this offseason. Great job to Breakneck, and I think he came out and he slapped around someone week 1. I forgot who it was. Who did he play week 1? But I forget who it was. But he gets
I
a
can't think of it right now, to be honest.
but he slapped him around and it wasn't close. It wasn't
Oh,
like 20 points.
it was the Bengals. It was
Yeah,
Eric.
smack Jake around. Hey Jake, respect your elders. Okay, so just remember. So I was super impressed to see Breakneck rocking the Boston Pride and kicking some ass. It wouldn't be a little trade season without talking a little bit about the Jets. Um, we traded away Brees Hall, Vera Tucker, Will McDonald, with another trade hoe in the commies, who we'll talk about here shortly. But I think that's a scary front. I know you don't play in that division anymore like you once did, but how would you feel about running into Jermaine Johnson, Jonathan Allen, and Quinnen Williams all game? How would that make you feel?
You'll have to say that one again. You kind of broke out.
I was saying basically, how would you feel if you had to run into Jonathan Allen and Quinnen Williams all game?
Yeah, I would definitely not like that. Not one bit, because I don't see how you can even run the ball.
Yeah,
A lot of outside plays, maybe, but man, that's going to be rough. And especially, I just think in the pass game too, if you leave those two one on one with your guards or center, I just think they're going to get pressure fast, and you're going to have to get it out quick.
Yeah, and don't forget, I mean, Jermaine Johnson's a little bit of a project on the outside, but on the other side of him, he's got Hassan Reddick. He is due a contract. I know he's not exactly in a great cap space, but Hassan Reddick is superstar. We may need to run a little bit of a superstar count on defense over there. John Allen, Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, and Reddick, that's four. So don't think of a fifth one just yet, but he's one dev upgrade away from having to lose someone.
Yeah,
Guys, that's the PML 2025. Madden 25. That there is some adjustments this year. Going to be some learning curves. And I'm
oh
not gonna
yeah,
lie to you. He stole Jordan. He stole the C2 from the Lions. I'm pretty sure that's the Steelers C2. Based on the first couple of weeks, it may be a pretty good pick.
yeah,
He's not going to be a quarterback builder. He's consistently always traded for or drafted one that was pretty high up. I think last year he tried to build one up that proceeded to have Thunder Thornton run 350 times in a season. So um,
yeah.
not too worried there. Lundo, couple small trades, got a couple C3s. Pretty quiet for Lundo. Sneaky deal that came in today. This is breaking news, folks. This is Jalen Wright, who was asked about multiple times in the offseason by multiple coaches. He has proceeded to be sent to Indianapolis for a 2027. Yes, I said it, 2027 Colts first round pick, which is really going to be pick 30, 31, or 32. So might as well just call it a second in 2027. So its value is about a C4. Quite disappointing to see such a poor trade by Ron. Huge win for Joe, but that's a little disappointing. Anything you want to add to this division, Wisco?
Nothing I got really right now towards it. The only thing is I'm really wondering what Freeze is going to do over there with getting rid of Bryce Hall or Brees Hall. Um, is he going to run the shit out of Braden Allen or?
Yeah, I think he's got Allen over there that he's kind of subbing in, but I think his plan is Izzy. I think the plan is Izzy and then use Allen and
Yeah,
kind of run a two back system. I know that I think he wanted to upgrade. I don't think he did though, but I know he was happy with using Allen a little bit in the preseason tournament. I know
yeah,
this. He's still loving college football. The rumor is that he knows how to pass in that game. But the question is, can he correlate it to Madden? And when he can do that, it'll be a different ball game for that old guy. So listen, we're finally here. We're in the last two spots, so we haven't talked about a ton. We've talked about a lot of trades, but now we're going to talk
yeah.
about the trade hoe. We've talked about pretty much most of his trades already. But guys, once again, average Joe, 11 freaking trades this year. By the time we got into week two, um, Jonathan Taylor gone, first round pick gone. Uh, what else? Second round pick gone. Quentin Nelson gone. Latu gone. All of his future picks gone. He even traded Adibore, which I just could not believe that he traded Adibore to go up maybe 28 to 30 spots with his brother, which I am not super excited about because I'm afraid of what he's going to be able to do with that guy in my division. Um, and then he stole like just tons of talent from Detroit. Uh, I mean, what can you talk? What can you say about Average Joe? You've had a couple seasons playing him. Anything you want to share about your experience there and pretty much the division that he's going to run neck and neck with Echo?
Honestly, like I said before when we were talking about it earlier, but I'm just never surprised with them with being in his division for a couple seasons and just seeing the trades and you're just sitting back looking at this like how the hell does he do it and how he just trades away everything and basically everything of his picks because I remember last year there was a couple of times where he didn't even have a pick until the sixth round because he would just give it away and I don't even know where to go with it with him blows my mind, some of the stuff that he does and the players that he steals from people. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, when I saw that Braden Smith, Jack Campbell, Terry, and Arnold trade, I wanted to vomit. Like I said, I look at this
Yeah,
whole lineup and I say he lost one trade. My belief is he lost one trade. I truly believe he lost the trade with his brother, the Tiger himself, right?
yeah,
But I look at the rest of it and I say he won every trade. Don't get me wrong, he probably overpaid the Niners, but the impact that Bosa can still have, the way our regression is set, it's not going to hurt terribly. He's going to be an X factor immediately. He doesn't have to build anyone up. You talked about his
yeah,
front line already, pairing him with Watt and Buckner, but like Joe, man, simply put, brother, like great job. Always a little something. And then stealing Jalen Wright, which actually I'm missing on this trade. So it's actually 12 trades. I apologize, folks.
yeah,
Right. So there's actually one more trade down here that I apparently am missing because it was a late addition. Oh no, it is on there. I lied. It's there. But that Jalen Wright coming in, basically backfilling John Taylor. He's one breakout game away from being a better John Taylor. So nice work there. Titans made a few small moves. I think he gave away Malik Willis. He wasn't going to play him. He's got Levis. He's got Mayo Boy out there. MVP from Madden 24. Picked up Julian Love as a Giants fan. Not surprised. Julian always did well there. You know, the Bellinger trade, I was a little surprised that he went as steep as he did with a C3, C5. I know this in New York, we were more than happy to move him on, but we liked it. As far as what the hell's going on in Jacksonville and Houston, first off, last year Echo was super active. He was trading everyone and everyone out in San Francisco. This year, not a damn thing. Like literally just crickets. Nothing.
yeah.
Uh, Pretty normal for the great Kim Jong Cody to not really make a ton of moves early on. He's got a few guys out there on the list. I'm sure something will kind of come up. He's probably going to play out his team a little bit this year and then move on. So saving the last, but definitely not the least, to NFC East, you'll definitely see there's a lot of trades on this board. More importantly, you see a lot of interdivision trades, which you just didn't see a lot in the other groups. We've talked about most of these already, so we're not going to go too much into them. The Commanders, I think, did very well. We just talked a little bit about the Adebawore trade. We talked about the Brees Hall trade. I think the Leggett
No,
trade is going to be really strong for him. Picked up Judon to go on the outside. He did trade away John Allen. I think that was a little surprising. He does have Deron Payne out there who got hurt week one, but I know he's probably banking on that guy deving up a little bit. But I really think the big takeaway here was that he got Skulls C1 and Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo was a staple for Seafield last year as CV1, 95, 96 speed, freaking monster over there. And he sent away Jeremy Chin, sent away Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson should have already been there anyway. Real life trade. Little surprised to see Chin go, but he's got Martin there. He's got some talent at cornerback. I think the Commanders did very well uh, in their offseason. No surprise, did not make a trade with the Giants. We're typically about season 3, season 4 before we find something that him and I agree on. As we are always going neck and neck.
yeah,
Speaking of the Giants, we talked a little bit about the Milton trade. Definitely a big investment. There's an old saying: if you like your quarterback, if you feel it's your guy, go get him. Definitely went and did that. Picked up the C2 for JMS and Darius Slayton, who we did not want to sign. Um, and really made room because we went and got Johnny Wilson, big 6'7", little slower, hoping to add a speed upgrade to him. Kind of work from there. Aziz is due a contract. It was more of a contract laden thing there. We talked about the Bellinger deal. After week one, it was known the Giants had some problems. Jalen Mayfield was not going to cut it at the right guard position. Uh, they were really hoping that Bakhtiari would have fallen to them at pick number 6 in the free agency draft. Unfortunately, they were taken by the Cowboys, and as you can see, the Giants sent their C2 to to the Cowboys for David Bakhtiari, who immediately started yesterday for them against the Commanders. Played really well. The Giants ran for 140, 150 yards total. Um, didn't eat a lot of pressure off the edge, which was great. But more importantly, they mortgaged the future. Typical Giants fashion. Season one, went out. They went and made a big splash. They traded for CMC. Some people have asked, like, hey, why, what, where, when? Simply put, boys, abilities are going to be rough this year. The number one thing that CMC brings to the table right away is he brings route apprentice at running back. It's the only way you're going to get those angles unless you got Hot Route Master. And the only way you're going to get wheels. And the rest of Madden, you don't have wheels. So it's going to be valuable. So I said, screw it, let's go get it. Wandale Robinson actually scored a touchdown week 2, not CMC, which is a little impressive to see. Um, you know, Skulls over in Philly, flipped running backs, makes sense. A little surprised he traded a future one for Danny Gray. Odd trade for Charlie's. Wanted a big guy. Flipped a couple cornerbacks he didn't need. The big trade for him, I think, really was getting Jeremy Chin. That was the most important thing, and he added Aziz to throw into the mix. And we talked about the Cowboys trade already, but you look at these last two divisions with the AFC South, where it was pretty much the Colts, and then you look at the NFC East, where there was the most trades made of any division. Any takeaways from what that division looks like?
Um, Nothing really that I'm looking at, but honestly, just the my question is I guess what do you take at it? Like when you started seeing a bunch of these trades, I know you guys traded in your division with each other and gone back and forth, but really, what was the most thing that you're like, ah, shit, like you saw someone else get in your division where you're like, ah, fuck, I'm gonna hate having to go against that throughout the year.
Great question, right? So this is what I'll say is I was not excited about the Commanders picking up Keely Ringo and picking up Skull's first round pick. I was just not happy about it.
Yeah,
There was a little bit of back and forth with the Jets Commanders deal where I was after dealing with Debo Samuel for a year in last Madden at running back,
yeah,
and then Jonathan Taylor later. I'm a little afraid of what Brees Hall can come to be, but I will tell you that at the cost of Jonathan Allen, I'll take it at any point. Like in a heartbeat, not having to play against Jonathan Allen in the middle, season one, and probably not having a really strong inside stuff player season two. Um, it's a little exciting there, but that Keely Ringo trade is I'm glad Chin's not there. The Hodson didn't really do much. That Keely Ringo Skull C1 trade, is it's a little scary. Not gonna lie.
yeah,
So, all right. Well, listen, Wisco, we ran a little bit long. I do appreciate your patience. We had a lot to go through.
yeah, no problem.
What I will say is, man, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. Getting in here, going through the trade recap with us, and looking forward to another strong Madden PML season. And in the end, brother, let's go get it, baby. PML, this is your boy Vegas 22, repping with Wiscofinest. Best of luck out there. Meet your minimums. Don't get suspended, and get some better graphics out there because some of them suck. Be better. Be good, fellas. We're out.